Oh, cool. How many are not from Colorado?
Rise of the humans.
Have fun. Creativity, strategic thinking, problem solving.
Thank you everybody for being in attendance today. There are a ton of really great sessions that are happening like right now, sessions that I wish I could attend. So I really appreciate the fact that you're choosing to spend your time here with me today. Oh, thank you. Awesome. So nice. Top-notch service. So what I want to talk about here today is creating your first journey in Salesforce Marketing Cloud engagement. Oh, they really wants to insist on. All right. Of course, familiar slide. Please go see our sponsors. Without them, we would not be here today. All right, a little bit about me. My name is Sarah Jane Smith. I am based out of St. Louis, Missouri, so quite a bit more humid. I am a marketing automation strategist at Sercante, which is a marketing consultancy. And kind of like our goal at Sercante is, we want to make marketers wildly successful on the Salesforce platform. So our domains tend to be Salesforce, CRM, Marketing Cloud Engagement, and Marketing Cloud Account Engagement, formerly known as Pardot. All right, getting started. We have a lot to cover and very little time to cover it in, so I may end up talking fast, moving fast. I have a ton of slides that I'm not going to show you today, but I will have a QR code where you'll be able to download it later. Okay? First thing we're going to talk about, I want to set the stage for you a little bit because, there's a lot of pre-work that I want you to think about. I want you to have a plan before you go in and actually build out a journey. And then we're going to try to do a live demo, internet willing, and then hopefully we'll have some time for questions at the end. That's my goal anyways. But getting started. So if you've never worked with Marketing Cloud, Journey Builder before, it may be tempting to kind of open up this really cool marketing automation platform, throw together your journey, and then usually it ends up looking like kind of a drip campaign, if anyone's familiar with just like your traditional drip campaign. I mean, you can do that on any marketing automation platform. Journey Builder can do so much more than that, and I want you to use Journey Builder for so much more than that. But in order to do that, I want you to really do some pre-work before you do that, right? First thing we want to do is you want to be able to define your customer lifecycle if you haven't done this already. And what do I mean? Well, a customer lifecycle, it's basically a series of steps that a customer goes through during a relationship with a company. This includes all the channels, all your touch points, systems, people, objects, anything directly or indirectly related to this kind of journey. This here is kind of a traditional customer lifecycle. You have everything from awareness, so the customer finds out who you are and that you have a product or service that they need. Acquisition, they make that purchase, right? Onboarding's that first impression. They use your product or service for the first time. Engaging, hopefully that relationship with that customer is not ending as soon as they purchase that product, right? You want to offer good customer support. You want to keep nurturing that relationship because eventually you want to try to upsell, cross-sell, or retain them, renew that subscription. And if you were successful in this life cycle, it just begins anew again. Of course, what I kind of showed you on that first slide can really differ depending on your organization. Not every company is going to have the same exact life cycle stages. This is something you have to define for your own company. So once you've done that work of identifying what your customer lifecycle looks like, what are the stages that are involved, we're going to move on to talking about, what are the key customer moments that are related to each customer lifecycle stage. The thing is, though, is that while we like to imagine the customer lifecycle as being a nice linear, trajectory from awareness to acquisition and beyond, the truth is that a customer journey really looks something like this. Customers are in control of their interactions with you, And not every customer is going to have their own path towards becoming an actual customer. So instead of trying to map out every single permutation and possibility of how a customer becomes your customer, we really want to focus on, okay, what are those moments that are happening between a customer and a company that we can really focus on and leverage in order to create that positive experience? So what are moments that matter? I have just some examples here that are kind of segmented by each life cycle stage. What's good about these moments that matter is that they're quantifiable. So you can map all of these moments to data points. And that's really important with the marketing automation platform, because those data points are what you can use to trigger a journey or to enrich personalization for a customer or to create further triggers within the journey itself, right? These moments that matter are an opportunity to push that customer to the next stage of the life cycle. So consider every single interaction an opportunity. All right, we've laid the groundwork of what you should be doing before you actually build out your journey, right? So now that we're going to get to the building part of it. And so it really just involves 3 steps. We're going to identify our journey criteria. We're going to map it out, kind of like a rough diagram sketch, and then we'll actually build it out in Journey Builder. And I do have a little use case scenario here. But before we kind of begin building that journey, let's talk about how I typically approach journey building. Is I like to think about the 4 pillars. Who's your audience? What are the data points that you need? What is the content that they're going to be receiving throughout this journey? And what are the channels that you want to use for them to receive that content? All of that is in service of a goal. Every journey needs to have a goal. And underlying those pillars is, how are you measuring that success? So don't do any journey building until you've identified these points. So here's our scenario here. This is an event registration journey that I want to create. Sercante, no bias there or anything, has just opened up registration for their upcoming virtual marketing conference, Mardreamin'. We have early bird pricing available until September 20th. We want to hit 20 registrations on an external event platform. It's not integrated with Salesforce for various reasons, because sometimes it do be like that. They want to send a reminder email to past conference participants once a week up until that deadline. And if that past participant registers for a conference, they should not be receiving any further emails. That's our use case scenario. So from there, this is the information I'm pulling from that use case, and this is what I'm trying to identify in terms of key requirements, right? We have a goal, 200 registrations by September 20th. We have an audience, past Mardreamin' attendees. We have some data points. Requirement, obviously, is going to be registration numbers, but we may also want to think about email opens, email clicks. We may not use that in the final journey, but they are data points to consider for further optimization of the journey later on. We have our content. So between now and September 20th, that's about 3 weeks, 1 email a week, 3 emails. And our channel is just going to be email. Our measurement is going to be registrations in Salesforce. But remember, the registrations are happening in an external platform. How are we getting them into Salesforce, right? So this is my example diagram sketch. It is rough. This is not something that will be the final result, but it gives you a rough idea of what I would think of when I start thinking about this journey, right? We have email 1, we wait a week, we're trying to see if they registered or not. If they did, we'll add them to a campaign in Salesforce, because that's how we need to track those registrations. If not, they get the second email. It goes like that for 3 emails. Okay? And now we're ready to do a live demo. So if my mouse will cooperate. I have built out 2/3 of this journey already, because you're going to see a lot of repetitive steps, right? This is the Journey Builder canvas. You can see we could have a lot of different steps that you're just clicking and dragging onto this canvas here. Entry sources. How are your contacts getting into your journey? Activities. What are the actions that are taken within the journey itself? Flow control, that controls how your contacts move through the journey, how and when. So you can control timing and what paths they go down. And then towards the bottom here, you get some update activity. So if your Marketing Cloud instance is connected to Salesforce, you can create and update records in Salesforce from a journey. And then you can also do kind of data extension updates right in here, right? So what I'm gonna do is, you can see I have my first email send. We're gonna wait 7 days, a week. We're gonna do a decision split, which evaluates whether that contact has registered or not. If they have, they're being created as a record in a Salesforce campaign. If not, they get that second email, right? And that just repeats again for the second email. How do we do that for the third email? Well, I'm going to click and drag this journey down in here. And it creates like a placeholder. I know that I'm gonna have that wait step of 7 days, which is already created, so I can leave that. I'm going to drag my decision split because we need that evaluation step. We know path 1 is gonna be registered, right? Let's do a campaign member update. And then if not, they just exit the journey. So I can throw these placeholders on here, and now I can go in and define what is like the content that gets attached to each step. So for the message, I have a email 3 right here. That's been added. We want to wait 7 days. And you have different measurements of time that you can define, but for us, it's going to be days. Our decision split, I decided to use this. There's a bunch of different ways to kind of start splitting out paths. For this, I've kind of predefined it already, and I'll show you how. The first path is going to be whether they registered, and then the second path is just whether they did not register, right? And how I am kind of controlling who has registered is I'm using contact data, and I have this kind of attribute here. So we're gonna say that that external event platform, we either upload the statuses into Marketing Cloud itself, or we have a direct sync. But what it's gonna do is we have this is registered flag, and it's a Boolean field. So we're just gonna say it's true if they've registered. And there you go, I have my decision split ready. And we need to define now that campaign member update step. So we are creating a new record in Salesforce. We're defining the campaign. You can just start typing out the name. We need to attach it to either a contact or a lead. In this case, I have the subscriber key. In Marketing Cloud, if you're synced to Salesforce, the subscriber key can be your contact ID. And then a status. I didn't actually define like a registered status. I probably should have, but for now we're gonna say they responded. So that's gonna be our registration status. That looks good. And then you might wanna give it a name, just to say what it is. So we're gonna be like, so create campaign member registered status, or anything you want. And then they'll always have like a wait by duration step before they exit a journey. Typically for these last ones, I will just reduce that down from a day to like a minute, because I want them to get out of the journey as soon as possible when they're done with it. So there you go. Very quick, simple first journey. This will get the job done, right? It does what it needs to do. However, it is a little repetitive. You just have the same steps over and over and over again. If you only care about whether they registered or not from this 3 email campaign, there are further ways you can start optimizing this to kind of just make it a little bit more simple. And what I might mean by that is, because we have so many repetitive steps here, we can actually use a join and start eliminating some of these extra steps. So say like I throw a join in here. What a join does is you can split branches of this journey, you can pull them back together again. So if I throw a join here on this path, I know that if they've registered, they just need to go up here, because they're just gonna follow the same series of steps as they would under email 1, right? Now that I've created this join, I can eliminate these steps. Super easy. right, registered, they now just go up to the initial path and they're just gonna follow the same campaign update. I can do that yet again for this bottom half, this last leg, and just drag it up. And now I've got 2 joins. I'm gonna delete these extra unnecessary steps. And there you go. Now we've just simplified that journey a little bit further. And so this is, as you start kind of laying down your first journey, you'll find all those little ways to start optimizing and simplifying, your journey. But the goal is to just, get your first iteration down first, make sure it works, that you're getting good data from it. And then you can always create more versions. You can add more complication to this journey, more branching paths. You can start doing all of that later, but the goal is to kind of get this first version down. All right, back to the presentation. So key takeaways, I'm not gonna read all of these, but it's basically, you want to go into Journey Builder with an actual plan. So, you want to have those customer life cycles mapped out. You wanna identify those moments that matter because those are what your journeys should revolve around, right? You can always start small, build up. So if you've never done this before, start small and build up. Marketing Cloud does have some pre-built templates that you can use as well. That can inspire you as to where you can go with the journey. You can clone them and modify them as is, or you can just use them, for inspiration. And then of course, always test, monitor, and optimize. Always, always, always. A lot of additional resources. Again, you can download these slides later, so these will actually be useful for you. Margarine's a real thing. So if you like this marketing automation stuff, we have a whole conference that's dedicated to it. So it's free, it's virtual, and it's happening October 31st to November 3rd. So if you want to join us, please do. We have a lot of people from the Salesforce marketing ecosystem that will be speaking, including yours truly. And then finally, this is where you can download all these slides. This is where you can find me on social media. Apologies, I don't use social media that much. I try so hard, but I'm really bad at it. I know, says the marketer. But yeah, that's it. Any questions that you have for me? Oh yeah. Oh, maybe. There we go. All right. Please, if you have any questions or anything, feel free to talk to me. I love all this marketing crap. I love Journey Builder. I love Marketing Cloud. We could talk your ear off all day about it if you want. All right. Thank you.